Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about motivation and goal setting. So goal setting, or not goal setting, is the single greatest cause, in my eyes, of mental interference in the mountain bikers I work with. And it's for this simple reason. When we feel like we have control, anxiety, mental interference goes down. When we feel like we have little control, stress, anxiety, pressure builds up. So setting appropriate goals, appropriate objectives can help us maintain that sense, that feeling of having control over our outcomes, right? So motivation comes from two different orientations. We've got our task or our skill orientation, and then we've got ego or outcome orientation, right? So talking about outcome orientation, this is when we're overly focused on the result of the performance or on the result of our ride. So outcome orientated individuals generally have a lower work ethic and they don't persist at tasks or at challenges for it long because they're setting themselves up for failure and setting themselves up to get easily frustrated and annoyed. This is often because their goals are too extreme, too far out here in the future, and there's that gap. That gap creates pressure, and if we're outcome orientated, we're not going to perform very well under pressure. On the other side of the coin, if we're task or skill motivated, we're going to be focused on the specific task or the specific skills the outcome requires rather than the outcome itself, right? So our attention is grounded in the present. What can I do now to point me towards X? I'm not just focused on X way out here, right? So task or skill orientated individuals are shown to have a harder work ethic. They persist longer at challenges and they set themselves challenging goals, but not extreme goals, right? So goals that, again, stretch them, they excite them, they motivate them, but they don't stress them. For this reason, they perform better under pressure as well. So a common analogy that you may have heard me use already when describing this is it's a little bit like when we jump in our car, we get out Google Maps and we set the destination. From there, Google gives us a plan. Okay, turn here, brake here, slow down here, avoid this traffic here. We're focused in the present, making decisions, making changes each step along the way. We're not just focused on our destination. If I'm leaving Vancouver and all I'm thinking about is Whistler Bike Park, chances are I'm going to crash along the way and I'm not going to get to Whistler Bike Park. Whereas if I'm focused on the actual driving, the actual journey, each step along the way, I'm going to get to Whistler Bike Park as a result of being task motivated. So let's dive in here a little deeper to what I was talking about there about setting goals too far out in the future or maybe focusing on past experiences. So when we first talk about the future, all fear originates in the future. Fear comes from a worry of what might happen in the future. Sure, we feel fear, we feel anxiety, we feel stress in the present, but that's because we're thinking about what might happen, what could hurt us, right? So when we focus our attention in the present, we're able to have fun. Focusing on what we're good at, what we like doing, is the best motivator. What can I do right now to point me towards my objective and have more fun? On the other side of the coin, if we're focusing on things that have happened in the past, maybe it's a past setback, a past crash, a past injury, etc., we're going to feel guilt, anger, frustration, all of these things, and perhaps train our brain to keep repeating those cycles over and over again. So for sure, acknowledge the risks, acknowledge that, okay, last time I did this, it didn't go so well. Why was that? And what can I do now to channel my energy to the present? What can I do now to achieve my objective? Rather than what happened last time, what's going to happen again, what's happened last time, what's going to happen again. We're stuck in the past at that point. Okay, so having a task-focused mindset is your way to keep your energy grounded in the present and keep that growth, keep that progression continuing. So the way that we actually apply all of these concepts in the real, tangible, practical way is through deliberate practice. So we set objectives that are just a little bit out of our reach. This is step 1 in the mental skills journal. For those of you that haven't watched that video yet, highly recommend you jump on that straight after this. We want our objectives to stretch us but not stress us. Really important point there. That's why I keep repeating it over and over and over again. From there, step 2 of deliberate practice is to think about the skills, the tasks that are specifically designed to help us improve our performance. Again, this is step 2 in the journal. So we focus on the skills rather than the outcome. Step 3 is where we provide ourselves with some feedback on the results. If we ever want to get to our objectives, our goals, we need to hold ourselves accountable. So, for example, my objective might have been to clear every jump on A-line. Did I clear every jump on A-line? Yes or no? If not, what can I do next time to help point me towards that? If I did, okay, cool. What am I going to do next time to meet my new objective? What is my new objective, right? So this is where high levels of repetition really come into this deliberate practice piece. And that's daily or every ride. We're going to use that mental skills journal to start conditioning the muscles and building, strengthening those neural pathways again and again and again. It's literally as simple as doing the mental reps, okay? The more we think in this way, the more we use this framework, the more automatic it's going to become, and the stronger those pathways are going to be. This means we're actually going to be able to access them when we do come across some pressure or some adversity in our riding. Maybe we're in a racing scenario, we're all pissed off, we're all hot and bothered. If we've honed in these neural pathways and all of our practice rides and all of that easy terrain, we've got a really good chance of actually being able to refocus, get our minds back on track and have a good day, meet our objectives. Whereas if we've just kind of done this once or twice, we've done it in our head, we haven't actually written it down, we haven't been present and focused, it's not going to work for us when we're in that performance zone or when we're there under pressure either. So that's motivation as it applies to mountain biking and progression. Strongly recommend you take a moment after this video, take 30 seconds or so to write down any points that really resonated with you, any points you're going to really make a point to focus on when you're out there on your next ride. This way you're going to actually remember this and actually start embodying the learnings rather than just having it as more mental noise, more information, right? Hope you found this video useful. As always, if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out, feel free to leave me a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd love if you could give it a share and hit subscribe. See you in the next one.